right. Give that time to sync to the various platforms around the world.
Around the world. The internet
We're-
is instant.
1 second. We're live in Norway. Okay, now we got
You need the clocks behind you.
we got Uganda. Okay, now Australia's online. We're
Ding, ding, ding. Green light.
that'd be pretty. Man, imagine if you had like the board in the back and like,
Yeah.
every time I went live is like
Bing, bing.
we're
Like a
getting
coin
negative
sound.
comments across the world. Let's go.
Welcome.
Nah, the world is a popular is a positive place. I'm sure we get glowing reviews. I'd be happy.
Let's change it yet.
Very good. All right. With that, we are live. The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new dads figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Yeah. So I was putting together a PC recently, and wife was coming in and like wondering what this is all about. And it's like, well, I mostly just have to worry about cooling, but don't worry about it. Let me introduce you to my biggest fan club. And I had to butcher it a bit.
Oh, make it yours.
To introduce it, but the real winner of that pun is actually friend of the show, Bill from A Gamer Looks at 40, who had sent us this amazing dad joke tweet, which I wanted to try to do the audio one, kind of regretting how it came out of my mouth. But he's putting together fixing up a PC. He turns to me to my wife. Hey, Jamie, allow me to introduce you to my new fan club. Just big old pile of gaming PC fans. God, I'm telling you this, I can hear the wife's reaction.
Yeah. Like you can hear the eyes rolling, right? Like you can hear.
It's so perfect.
I never want you listening to that show again. They have too many dad jokes. Can't listen to them.
Is this what they encourage? You're not allowed to watch this nonsense. Get those people off of your phone. But Bill from A Gamer Looks at 40, an excellent podcast. Everyone should definitely check out. But thanks so much for the dad joke. It's probably one of the best parts of starting this show is the stream of dad jokes that we get from listeners.
Absolutely.
So if anyone's got some winners, send along to us at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. So speaking of other great podcasts, a big shout out and thank you to Gamers Week Podcast. Gamers Week Podcast is doing really great numbers online and deservedly so. It's an incredible show, and I had a real honor and pleasure of being on it this week. So we got a lot of fun. As we're leading up to it, I was kind of wondering in the back of my head, I wonder what we'll talk about.
Right.
This is the week, depending on when you're listening to our show, that Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard.
They just bought half the gaming landscape. Yeah. No big deal.
So leading up to it, it's like, I wonder what we're going to talk about. Oh, I see.
That, right.
This is what we'll speak about. Okay. So anyway, absolute pleasure. Blue, Donnie, and Ryan I blended it in, felt so welcome, and I think I had a great time. So anyway, week after week, they're on their 5th episode. This is the new podcast, and you can see from their reviews, people loving it. Gamers Week Podcast, check them out for sure. Now, the shocking news, there's a bigger shock, I think, than Blizzard being purchased by Microsoft.
Oh, yeah.
And it was actually a gem that you had uncovered and caused a number of gaming dads' heads to explode. Why don't you explain to the good people a truth that we all missed growing up?
Okay, so ready to have your just brain melted and so many childhood hours just washed down the drain for nothing? Well, Nintendo, the old Nintendo NES on Mario, there is a way where after you've completely expended your lives, like there's 0 lives left and you have no continues, the last time you die, you can actually hit on the controller. You gotta hold A and press start, and the game will continue your game where you left off. So it doesn't kick you back to World 1-1. You can keep going.
There is a continue in the original Mario Brothers on Nintendo.
I don't understand how no one knew of this. And apparently in our comments when we posted this, some people knew about this. So Now thinking back to all the friends that I had where we played Mario and they're like, well, what's the problem? I beat it. Did they know about this and they just didn't tell me? Yeah, I don't know.
That might sell you some records.
Yeah.
But it just pisses me off because that game, I remember there was a time when I was trying to beat it, like years, like not only a couple years ago type of thing. Found a ROM and like was just trying to get through it because
Yeah.
I'd never beaten it. It was so hard.
It's
You
hard.
you die so often,
Yeah.
and there's so much game and no continues. And our childhood was a lie. Like it's so surprising to find that this is the case. I couldn't believe it. They continue in original Mario on NES.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Apparently it was in some sort of like game guide at the around the same time. People said the instruction booklet, but no, that was thrown out. It was like a gamer's guide that was saying just press start and hold the A button and you're good. I'm like, are you serious?
It must have been. I swear to God, it sounds like it was a testing feature, like for the
Oh, yeah.
testers to make
Yep.
sure they didn't have to go back through it, and they just left it in. I wish they had told me, because maybe I could have not had that monkey on my back of having never beat Mario. But hey, gaming dads, if you're currently going through it, check it out. Original Mario, hold A before you press start after you get a game over, and you get to continue. Nonsense.
That's right.
All right, so now if we're playing more modern titles, I think everybody would have seen it this week. Nintendo did their wrap up. Tends to be a big thing for most companies like Spotify. Like, what did you listen to the most? Looks like Nintendo a little late to the party, but still did it. They offered, what did you play the most? What was your gaming year like? I don't no longer have my PlayStation, so I have no idea. But Jeff, you got yours, and it sounds like you had a couple interesting stats as a gaming dad.
Yeah, for my PlayStation wrap up, I expected more of the stats to apply to me, but my kids, I remember my kids play under my profile because it's the one with online functionality. So they had 401 hours in Minecraft, and which is ridiculous. And even like to add on to that, underneath it says days gamed out of the year, and it's 365. So there's not one day that went by where it wasn't turned on, probably to play Minecraft. So
Wow. So how does it make you feel? Like, so you're the dad. You're looking at their amazing stats, like I almost feel like you'd be envious. Like, what's going through your head? What's your emotions as you see the impressive gaming numbers your kids are racking up?
I mean, it's kind of like that balance. Like, is this a gaming dad victory, or is this like,
Is this good?
is this something where you're like, okay, I'm too like the world is on fire. Just go downstairs and have fun, like on the screen. Like, go do your thing. So I don't know. Like, it could be a little bit of both to me. They certainly did a lot in it. I know we've talked a lot about Minecraft on the show because of my kids' experience with it, and now yours. So there's a lot there. 401 hours though. I broke that down, and it's a lot of hours per day, if it's like spread across the year. But you know, honestly, like we had lockdowns and stuff. Like I don't know. Like if they're fine and safe in Minecraft, by all means. But I'm not. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't.
That's pretty. Okay, that's pretty damning.
I
Craig.
didn't-
Just like.
Well, because it's one console too, right? We have the Switch, and then my other son has gaming PC came in late in the year, so like there's probably more hours on that. I'm just saying, but
Yeah, I will say it is a reasonable caveat. The year that we had, I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
I'll say I can admit too, like my kids' gaming numbers right now are through the roof,
yeah,
and to the point where I'm not even particularly comfortable with it. Like it's to the point where it's like I'd like to, bend this off a little bit. Like this is like this going a little bit farther than I like, but COVID,
yeah,
awful school year. We had a couple days that were like -30
right.
Celsius, which is like -40, like I think, awful, right? And then pandemic, school, and then we're doing renovations in the house. So it's just like it all stacked on top of each other where it's just, we need you guys to be occupied for a bit. I can't reasonably get you a babysitter. You can't go to friends because there's a virus.
Yeah,
So I'd like to think this isn't normal.
yeah.
I'd be curious to know. Like, I don't know if PlayStation will release the numbers, but if you could see this year's numbers across gaming dads and gaming kids this year compared to last year, or sorry, I forget how long we've been in this mess.
Well, I was about to say,
Pre-COVID
5 years
number,
back.
pre-COVID numbers to current COVID numbers, what the numbers would have been.
Yeah, I know. I think it would be way less. They would be outside a lot more, just run around and stuff. But yeah, like you said, I think it's just it's an odd year. Um, it's just something that we kind of gave up on for a lot of the times, and that's what's funny though is the opposite side of that. Another stat was the PSVR hours, and
no.
there's a big fat zero on that. So I don't know. I wasn't in VR at all, and my kids were on Minecraft gaming along. So
Not even did that seeing zero, did that give you any, and be honest, did it give you like any desire to just bring it out, just like blow the dust off it just once this year?
I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it because there are some games that I've kept on the we have this external hard drive that has all the games on it, so I don't have to re-download. But I was gonna boot it up, but it's all the setup, man. The setup, and I have the camera and the camera and the wands, the move controllers, whatever they're called. They're in like a storage box somewhere else, so it would need a lot of effort to drag that out again. And the kids have asked. It's not like the kids haven't bugged me about bringing it out again because they've had some time in Beat Saber, and it's kind of a good exercise thing for them. But I just kind of look at them and I'm like, ugh, not today. Just go play Minecraft.
Go chalk up another 400 hours.
There you
on
go.
Minecraft.
See, that's what happens. That's why.
I'll put a challenge. I suggest you bring it out. Like,
Okay.
try over the coming weeks to bring it out. I think with VR, I just found there was this mental block. It certainly got better with Oculus Quest that I got, but even then, it's still just getting into a whole new environment.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like lying back on the couch. I have this year like really rekindled my enjoyment of it, and just have been jumping in a bunch. Like I got this putting game. It is the most walkabout mini golf. It is the most calm, chill, relaxed thing. Every hole on every one you can find a ball that's hidden somewhere on the little course.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So before you go to any of them, you're just kind of strolling around, like giving a little look. And you're in a Zen garden. You're in a Nordic one. You're in as if like you're on the coast of Scotland. Like it's awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
And especially because it is VR, it's neat. So I think all I'm trying to implore upon, or impress upon you is that you kind of forget how cool it is.
Yeah.
Because the huge setup cost like kind of dissuades you from doing it. So I'd say if it's at all at all reasonable, slowly and surely. Don't don't spend 4 hours tomorrow setting up VR, but just try to get that all set up and try to get in. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
All right. It sounds like a challenge. I will try and make good on that challenge, and maybe that's the push I kind of need. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and if
I'll
not,
bring
sell
it
it,
out.
make money.
I know. Like even before the second one comes out, right? Like maybe I could just squirrel that away and then get something that I'm never going to play again anyway. That's newer.
I think you'll take it out and you'll rekindle your love for it. Like, what have I been missing? Or you're like, I don't like the setup. Time to sell it before it's worth nothing with the PSVR 2.
It's true. It could also be like just family vacation, right? No one's going anywhere, so you just might as well hop into VR and go to space or the coast of Scotland or something. So
Perfect. All right.
Exactly.
Dad challenge accepted.
That's right.
Any other gaming dads, let us know your current PlayStation. Well, firstly, your wrap up. I'd be curious to see other gaming dads wrap ups.
Yeah.
Their wrap ups and then their kids' wrap ups. And then additionally,
Please have it comparable to mine. Well,
congratulations, Jeff. You are the worst of all PlayStation parents.
I need a baseline.
Now, being the worst parent, well, nice segue into getting angry at kids. All right, bad transition. Jeff didn't actually get angry at kids. There was a moment of disconcertment, though, when you discovered just how much your kids had been destroying their controllers downstairs.
Yeah, yeah, it's just something that didn't really occur to me to check up on, but I moved the PlayStation 4 downstairs to the basement so the kids can have kind of a gaming room, and that can be their console of choice again because they don't play anything graphically intensive. They find to use that for YouTube and other games. But I come down because we're gonna watch a family movie, and I was setting it up, and I noticed that I don't know how they're doing it. They're taking the controller and trying to charge it, but it's almost like they're just blindfolded trying to work in where the USB cable goes because it's all scratched. All it's every single controller. I have 4 PlayStation 4 controllers, and every single one is just eaten up on top. I'm like, I had this for 5 years, not a scratch on it. What are you doing? It's been
This was
a year.
pristine. This was in like A+ quality. This
That's
would have got me
right.
$5 at GameStop.
I still
That
have
won't
the
get me one.
boxes. Yeah. So it's just like that kind of stuff, right? And then like even just they have the controllers like on the couch or on the ground. I'm like, guys, come on, like
Yeah, the on the ground is a particular. It's an interesting additional impetus to try to teach them about picking after themselves. Like I'll say, we're trying it, just even around the house. It's like after they shower or change, it's like guys, like clothes off the ground, like into the hamper.
right.
Which, as best I've heard from other dads, is just that's a losing battle. But so we'll do it in earnest, or finish your food, like plate in the sink type of thing. But yeah, there's a particularly special. It's a special dagger in my heart when I come down the stairs. And you just see the controllers just haphazardly in every manner and every corner and every position possible, just strewn about. You're like, guys, like, do you know how much one of those things cost? Like, it is your segue into gaming, and if it breaks, you are not getting another one. Like, please take care of these.
Exactly. And I think this is where maybe Nintendo knows what they're doing because somehow those Joy-Cons get attached back to that screen and that screen and Joy-Con goes exactly on the dock. Right? So maybe Nintendo has this down to a science that we don't know, Trevor. Like maybe a dad designed that one. They're like, how do I get the controllers back where I want them?
Okay, and the only way to charge it is if it's connected to
That's
it and
right.
then it's put away.
Yes. Perfect, right?
I'd never thought of it that way. That's very smart. Because I've never heard any praise about the Joy-Cons besides
No.
what you just said.
No, that's it.
Because they're garbage controllers otherwise.
Yeah.
But
Too small, break, everything.
the braking is just infuriating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boo.
So it's
Yeah,
funny that
also-
you said about the cleaning up, trying to get your kids to clean up after like a shower or something, like their floors, because we've tried that too. And my wife heard something about a Doom box. Have you ever heard of that?
Doombox. No.
Yeah, it's basically just like a doomsday bin.
Okay.
So when they clean up stuff off the floor, if they can't put it away, if it's too much for them to put it away at that moment, they can throw it all in this bin so they can work away at it later. And then if they
Okay.
just stuff it in constantly, then the whole doom box gets dumped over and then they spend the rest of the afternoon cleaning it all up. They have to work away at it, right? So we've tried that. It works. Doesn't work with video games. Doesn't work with any other toys down here. Works with clothes and like books and stuff, but not any of the other stuff.
Okay, so I thought you were going in an entirely different direction,
Oh.
which I'll elaborate on. Well, I thought it was going to be, if you don't clean it up, it goes in this box, and if it doesn't get taken care of in this box, it gets thrown out.
Yeah. Well, could go along with the name. Yep.
Okay, but so Doomsday, this is just if you want to put it off, cleaning it, just
Yeah.
put it in this box, and that's kind of a mulligan, and then
Yeah.
eventually you just have to deal with the box.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I kind of prefer mine where it's just you don't pick it up, it goes into jail, and if you don't deal with it from jail within 5 days, it is pitched.
That
It's
is it. You're out of
It's
here.
dead to us. But small punishment to them because it's like, joke's on me. I paid $12 for that toy.
They know you. They know it too. They're calling your bluff. You're like, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you
Make
destroyed
my
it.
day.
Birthday's coming around. I don't need that anyways. Whatever goes in the Doom's box gets re-gifted, and one of your new gifts get taken away. That's
way.
much better. So, new toys coming in, old toys going out, new games coming in, new games going out. Good transition to a situation I found myself in. I found on a blog that a game that I really wanted to get through and finish is leaving in February 16th. It is currently January 23rd, so a little less than a month I have left with this on Game Pass
Yeah.
before it goes away. And either I have to buy it like anew, although I do have it already on the Switch, but then
Okay.
I'd have to like catch up and redo all this effort I've just recently done. That Dad don't got time for that. So the race is on in some ways. Like it really caused me to pick it back up. It's like, all right, let's blast through this. And I'll say now too, like I'm really speed running it. Still loving it. Like it's still my favorite Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
but every decision now is a Google search.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, okay, hey, you can choose a second job. Neat. Hey Google, what is the best second class for? I'm not. There's no thinking involved. There's no research. It's just, all right, like find the Reddit thread where somebody breaks it down and just go with it.
Just give it to me.
So it's been in a weird incentive where it's like, all right, this game is leaving this service in T-minus 20 days. I was like, if I'm gonna beat it, like this is it. So I trying to rush against it.
Again, I kind of relate it to if the kids don't play with their toys, we're gonna give it away. So Game Pass is exactly that, just for adults. So if you don't play with this game, it's leaving. I'm sorry, you gotta get on it. So
I haven't been caught up with it yet. I do have every time I go through, you can add something to your wish list or your play later list. So as you're going through, you don't want to install it, but maybe someday. I'll say that this is the first time I've been hit with it, honestly, which is it's an interesting argument for those who would go against some of these streaming services, where because you don't have that ownership,
yeah,
the service giveth and the service taketh away.
yeah.
So, so if you wanted to do a real deep dive long play of this thing, like you got a couple weeks left. You got a speed run, bud.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking of that too. How like maybe that's what's stopping me from like again, my son has Game Pass, but I don't. But it was just like not owning things, even though you can purchase it, but not owning it and then having it like there's a deadline or a due date. But then I was thinking, well, if I don't play it, like when I download it, it's never gonna happen. And then I'm just gonna wonder, and then it'll be like one of those days like, I wish I could play that. And then it would be on sale anyway somewhere else. Or I'd have it on multiple other consoles and devices. Like there's other ways I could do it. I'm just like, nah.
Maybe not.
So I could see it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the first time it's come across my console as far as a game I wanted downloaded going to be leaving, so I better get the most out of it. It might be the type of thing, if it ends up being like just $20, like do you just buy it again, or do I sink the time into the Switch version that I have and speed run it? But we'll see if I can like blast through the rest of this title before the due date. I'm honestly, even despite that, I had a quote unquote negative experience with it, that I'm losing a game I want. I am kind of siding with what you said, where it's if I'm not playing it a lot, if I'm not loving it all the time and trying to play it as much as possible, is it really such a loss to like not have it on the system?
Yeah, see, that's where I think I just have to get around that mental that mental block where I'm like, no, I want to own it forever because I might one day in a year from now want to play it. But that never happens. Look at the PSVR. It's 0 hours. Like
your PSVR is somewhere just shedding a single tear.
Yeah, exactly. So like if that was a rental service, like maybe that would have been a better idea. I don't know. But it's not like I don't think this is really going to hurt like anybody. Like it wouldn't hurt me to jump into that service and think about that. It's just, again, you have to get around that kind of mental block. And they give a lot of time with these games, right? Like that wasn't just a month. That was probably...
it feels like it's almost been a year.
So they'll just go and buy Square anyway, and you'll have it
at this rate
there forever.
Piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
Now, a game that I'm fairly happy that isn't on Game Pass, but if it's going to be a limited release, would definitely have to be Dying Light 2, which, like, this is a couple of weeks old. This is the first time we've had a chance to talk about it.
Yeah.
But almost braggadociously, they had come out and they said, this game will take you 500 hours to beat. And not just like content. I've heard that kind of boast before where there's like thousands of hours of content.
Yeah.
As best I understood, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is very much like you could need upwards of 500 hours to finish all of this.
This was 500 hours to top out, and then people were again obviously kind of upset. Like 500 hours. Like again, my PlayStation wrap up 400 hours on Minecraft, and they're playing every day, and that was a year. So
those are kids without a job.
Yeah, so they had some backlash, and then they quickly reposted something else that said, no, like 120 hours, the kind of like main stuff, and then the rest is side stuff you don't need to do or whatever. You maximize other things. But still, 120 hours, main storyline. That is a beefy boy. I don't know, like
120. God, I've been looking at, like, I really want to get through Undertale after I'm done with Final Fantasy 12.
Oh God, yeah.
I think Undertale is like a 1 hour experience.
Yeah,
I think it's like a 1 to 8 hours.
You could probably do it in a night. I don't know.
So, I've been looking at a couple, like to knock off a couple of those kind of cool, tight, awesome experiences, and then this nonsense comes out. Just being so happy and proud about how long it's going to take, and it's not even something like if somebody says, "Hey, I've spent 500 hours on World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy Online," or
yeah,
great, but like, for a AAA title, single player, there is a single player. I think that's what it. That's like the hours it was describing.
Yeah,
just like
I don't want it.
I'll be curious to see reviews to see like how padded it out it is, because as opposed to having cool set pieces, interesting missions, in-depth stories and characters, if it's hey, remember this fetch quest that took 1 hour? Well, there's 80 of them, and you have to do them all.
Yeah.
Like, what is that experience like?
It's also sketchy to me that they kind of like, why do they want you to spend so much time in this world where you kind of pay once you enter and you have 500 hours of content? Like, is there microtransactions or some other thing in here where they want you to spend that amount of time? Because to me, as a developer, I'd want them like a fair experience, maybe 20, 30 hours, and then the rest maybe are DLC chapters like everybody else is doing it. But if they expect this to be a long-term, like we want people in here for a long time, there's got to be other ways that you're spending money. So even like the 500 hours thing is kind of sketchy to me, where like, oh God, they're going to be like, here's a fetch quest, but it's locked behind this level that you now have to maybe pay to get up there, or you're grinding constantly to try and do that fetch quest, and that's where the hours comes in. Like, do you know? Like, it just seemed like it's like, don't brag about this. Even as gaming dads, you're like, I can't. Like, unless this was my life and this is the game, that's it. Like, that's what I'm gonna do, then fine. But holy, to the mass public, I'm not sure.
It's like, this is my year. Although, like, as you've shown, like, again, like your kids without jobs or responsibilities can only rack up 400 hours.
Yeah.
So this is like 6 years of gaming that time. Like, that's even the thought of like 100 hours in a game within a year. Like, I don't think I could possibly get that much time. So
and maybe we'll call this genre generational, so we can just hand it off to our kids to finish out. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I could never finish this save file. Carry on my legacy.
Go.
What are you doing? Why are you? No, don't delete the. What are you doing? Oh God! And then you die.
Yeah. Yeah. Fly, little birdie, fly.
Finish what I never could. Rosebud.
Yes, exactly.
Dying light.
I could see some of this stuff appearing in wills, where you're like, character number Bruno 565 is now yours.
To my son I bequeath my Fortnite account.
Yeah.
Which has the golden unicorn, the fat gun, and the mama jamma. Do with it what you will.
All part of the estate, please.
Oh, God, that makes me want to do some research. I'm kind of curious now about, has a gaming file or set of download systems, DLCs, records been passed down from someone in a will?
That would be interesting, right? I'm sure the companies would immediately stop it. They're like, nope, tied to his account. You can't go in. You're not the same person.
Listen, firstly, I'm sorry for your loss. Secondly, we're suing you. You're not allowed to do this. Thanks, EA. We got this.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And on that happy note of passing on gaming legacies, we'll wrap it up there for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you yourself have a story of a legacy that you'll be passing on to your children, do you worry about 500 hours? Do you have a good story about your PlayStation wrap-up? Are your kids better or worse than Jeff as far as those numbers? Did you know that Mario, the original Mario at NES, had a continue feature? For this and many more, we'd love to hear from you. Like I said, the interaction with fans has been some of the greatest stuff this last year, so hoping to keep that going. You can reach us on Twitter at NewDadGaming or our website, newdadgaming.com. We're in the midst of a kind of a blitz at this moment. We are trying as much as possible to get as many reviews and comments on all of the podcasting platforms, so Spotify, Twitcher, or Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere where you get your podcast. It really helps to increase the signal of the show as we reach out as many dads as possible. If you do so, leave a comment, reach out to us. We'd love to plug whatever you have or just give a call out so we can give you our thanks for doing that. We really appreciate it. So with that being said, if did you like the show, you can find us on all those podcast networks. Again, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere where you get your podcast. Would really like a subscription as we reach as many gaming dads as possible. Until next week, my name is Trevor. I ain't got time for that, but I do have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I'm going to give my Witcher 3 save file to my 11-year-old and my 8-year-old.
Like, Dad. we'll give your girl a strong legacy, Dad. Don't you worry.
That's right.
Let's sell it. He's gone now. Remember, everybody, just because you became a dad
doesn't mean it's game over.
All right. See you next week.
See you later.